careful here.
Yeah.
You know, I am not. How do I word this? Like a far leftist. I try
Right.
to remain apolitical, but he is just so stupid. It's not even a politics thing. They're just so, like I said, excessively transparent.
It's he's just he's just alt right. You know.
Which is actually stupid to be if you consider yourself even a semblance of intelligent.
I don't know.
I mean, I could understand why you would say that. However, in intelligence comes logic, and there is a lack of logic in some of those viewpoints that he holds near and dear.
Like what?
Things that can be easily fleshed out as well, like this right here, with the Islamic thing. Like, it's so transparent that he comes later and says all the Abrahamic religions, to be
Right.
honest. But let's go to what he first said with it. People are finally recognizing the danger posed by Islamism. Like, come on. Like, if you're gonna say all the Abrahamic religions, then say that. But uh, it's just too much, man.
Yeah, but like I was saying, like I don't know. I think what a lot of people mess up is like they don't know the difference between like religious denominations and just a worldview. Like there's
That's
such a huge difference.
Yeah. I mean, I can't speak to like the Islamic
Right, right,
difference.
same.
However, I can speak to the Christian difference. And the Christian worldview is held by all of them. It just comes down to interpretation of minute details.
Right.
Like
It's like the
the
10% that everyone disagrees on.
Right. When I was a Christian, I was a part of the Presbyterian Church of America, or of the United States of America. There was a split in the 70s between that church and the Presbyterian Church of America, PCUSA and PCA, all because the PCUSA thought it was okay for women to be pastors. And they split their church over that. And
Yeah.
there's two denominations now, like
Oh, there's
national.
there's hundreds. There's hundreds like total.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe even more.
So yes, it's important to not conflate worldview with denomination. However, a worldview is still an overarching thing that can largely be ascribed to any denomination.
Uh
You don't think so?
I mean worldview is worldview. Like, wait,
Yeah.
you mean like so it's the same across all denominations.
Well,
Like
no,
essentially the worldview.
not the same, but similar enough that if you were to say like, oh, the Baptists share the same worldview as the Presbyterians, I would almost be willing to agree because they
Right.
largely do.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, you could do that with almost like so. So basically, worldview is agreeing on like the 90%, and denominational views are like arguing over
Right,
that 10%.
right. I agree. So why do you say that there's like a difference to be noted there?
Because okay, so
Because
so if you're a Christian, you are like all right. So if you're a Christian, you hold the Bible as like the ultimate authority instead of like a group of people deciding what the interpretation is. You know.
well, it
So
depends. I mean, we could get into that, but yeah, I get where you're going.
I think that's like the
Okay.
biggest difference. So like people that go to war or commit murders out of their faith is just inaccurate. Like it's not something that the religion itself teaches or
That's where I stand. That's yeah. I mean, I stand on equal footing with you there.
yeah.
I think that it's might be caused by it, but it's not the reason. Like, and what I mean when I say that is that, like, let's imagine like this Islamic beheading in France or whatever. I don't know much about it, but let's assume there's like one perpetrator, right?
Yeah.
And the perpetrator was a Muslim, and he did it because of his Muslim faith. But really, to do that requires something internal that's personal, that is
Yeah,
not
I mean
denoted solely.
it's not exclusive to religion either. Like anything that people feel strongly enough about, like where they're getting emotional. So, for example, politics. Like people will kill over politics, and they
Yeah.
have. Like that's something somewhat normal now.
Right, right.
But yeah, that's a fault with the person themselves instead of like the belief
Exactly.
as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, and I also agree what he said. I mean, I think all the Abrahamic religions are have committed tons of atrocities through the last couple millennia,
Yeah.
such that none should be looked at as above or below any other. I mean, he's talking about the Islam faith here as being a dangerous religion, but
Well,
he totally forgot to denote what early Christianity looked like. Like, I don't
yeah.
understand. And he only said that when I mentioned it, which is transparent and in bad faith to
Well,
me.
that's because he's actually an alt right like person. Like that's
I know this might be a bit edgy, but I don't fucking get how since he's brown. Like they don't want him.
that's not true. They love him.
Yeah, I guess he is the token for them, sure. Actually, did you know the leader of the Proud Boys is black?
Yes. Well,
Yeah,
he's mixed, isn't he? Like black Cuban.
black and like Cuban or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy, right?
yeah, he's well spoken. I watched an interview with him. I don't like him, but I think he's well spoken.
Well, yeah, and that like so a lot of groups like that are, I guess, improperly pictured as white supremacists when they really aren't. You
Yeah, I, mean,
know,
I
like
agree. There's a well, yeah. I mean, it has to come down to worldview again, worldview versus denomination, um,
yeah,
and the alt right worldview, be it between the lines or not, holds sort of white people above other minority. I mean, I could be wrong about this. I just feel that to be true. I've never met an alt right person who was like, "No, dude, eugenics suck," or something like that. But then the Proud Boys are not a white supremacist group, but the worldview is still that of the alt right.
yeah. I don't know about that.
You don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, I could be wrong. I just
I
hold
mean,
those two
but
close.
that's like I mean that's almost the same as saying like you can't be black and Republican.
Um,
I mean, it's kind of on the same lines, except like
well,
more of an extreme.
you have to acknowledge the alternative, prefix to that. Um, I mean, what do you think defines the mission statement and value statement of an ideology? Is it the actions committed by their like I want to say base, or is it a progressively changing thing? I
Hmm.
ask this question because we've seen the mass shooters in recent times, specifically in New Zealand. Um, their manifestos fall upon white genocide and whatnot. So if you believe that an ideology's worldview or the consequences of radicalization of that ideology is played out through their actions, then does that not give a glimpse into what the alt right is or can be?
I don't know.
Dude, this is a good stream. It feels like we're on a podcast.
Maybe we should start a podcast.
What's our next topic?
I don't know.
Um,
I don't know.
okay, so just to clear, so I'm not going to put you on blast here, but you are on the right side of things. So how
Of
do you
course, I'm on the
feel?
right.
I just didn't know if you're like comfortable with me saying that. So
You know,
I was trying to sugarcoat it. So how do you feel about two party? Um, like just simply the two party system in general.
I don't really care for it. I mean, I wish there was like something else. I mean, obviously there's more than two parties, but like there's literally like only two
Yeah.
religions. But um, I think eventually that's going to change.
Um, I mean, I would have said that 5 years ago that I thought it would change. However, that's largely because multi-party stuff happens in more progressive nations, right? Like you see it in Germany, you see it in all the European countries. Really, they give fighting chances to different parties. You know, the Labor Party, the Green Party, all these different parties, which are the Green and Labor are basically just
Well,
Democrat and Republican. There's plenty more.
yeah, but
So
you have
I
to
would,
realize that though that like the multi-part like it happening in more progressive countries is a product of being like I mean it benefits a progressive movement.
that's what I'm saying is that if America would become more progressive over time, then I think that the issues upon which we're divided would be more progressive, or I guess they would be more
There
economic
there needs to
since we.
be there needs to be a split in um like each party. Like Democrats need to be unhappy with the way their leadership is going. Republicans have to be unhappy with it. Like that's the only way
Right.
that a two-party system will like end for us.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with
So
that
it has to be
actually.
like a civil war in regards to, um, the party itself.
Yeah,
You
that's
like
true.
you almost had it with like in 2010 with the Tea Party, like Tea
Oh,
Party
that's
and
right.
Republicans.
God damn, I was only 12. I remember my nana watching that on TV.
Oh,
Holy
really?
cow. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the closest we've been where and like those Tea Partiers were like primarying establishment Republicans. Like who was it? Was it? It wasn't the Speaker of the House. It was someone else. I guess it was. I guess the minority whip or majority whip. I forget. It was in Virginia, but he got primaried and lost to insurgent Tea Party candidate.
Wow.
Yeah.
The only thing I know about the Tea Party from watching it on TV with my nana when I was 12 is that Ted Nugent is a supporter and he played Stranglehold on TV, and that's it.
I didn't even know that.
I mean, I personally think that this could happen with the GOP if Trump loses.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, I don't know about that. Like, I
so
think what's more likely to happen is it happening more on the left because maybe Biden and Harris wouldn't push things as left as they want.
right. However, I think yes. Okay, so let me go back to Trump for a sec, and then I'll get to that. Like there has been a pretty huge cultural shift for the Republican Party, like over the last like 6 years because of this. Um, and of course, you're probably still going to have those foundationalists who are just trudging through it to maintain their jobs. I mean, Christ, you've seen the books written by people like what's his name? Who's the speaker? I really liked his book.
Boehner,
No,
Newt Gingrich.
no, for Trump.
Oh,
Fuck, what's
Paul
his name?
Ryan
No, hold on.
was Speaker of the House or what? What are you talking about? Wait, what was the score of that?
Speaker, not speaker.
What was it? We need a. I don't know what the score of that was. We've been freaking talking about fucking politics and worldview.
Christ, what's it
All
called?
right,
I'm
3-1,
blanking.
3-1 Poost office. Dude, what are you talking about? The Speaker of the House, or what are you talking about?
Hold on.
Oh, it's not Cedar. Was this? Pilot 2 and Vardo.
Wasn't Wolf's book.
Hey, who are you? EJKLDFS. I think I saw you on another stream. I just don't know who you are.
I'm just
Were you
looking through
watching this
the.
ass?
No. Oh, who was it, dude? It just came out.
Dude, wait, so who are you talking? I forget if you've responded to me. Like the Speaker of the House?
Speaker, I got that wrong. I forget what it was. Hold on.
Chief of Staff? Are you talking about General Kelly?
Oh, Bolton, John Bolton.
Oh, National Security Advisor.
Yeah. The reason I thought he was speaker was because he was going to be, and then he got brought in as
No,
NSA.
he was never going to be a
What
speaker.
is he going to be? What's the thing I'm thinking
Speaker.
of?
So Speaker of the House. That's like, all right. So you have to be in the House of Representatives, and
Hold
then you have
on. Okay, yeah.
you have to get
What am I?
elected in the House to be Speaker.
What am I thinking about? Bolton was going to become what I
Secretary of
think.
State.
Yeah, Second State. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, Bolton was going to become Sec State,
Yeah.
but then he got passed. Like in the book, he says he like did a great job in the interview. Trump was telling him like, "Oh yeah, you're number one," and all this. And then who was the sec? Was it Michael Flynn? And then he just
No,
like,
no,
"Oh,
it wasn't Mike Flynn.
who was it?"
It was Rex Tillerson.
Yeah, that's right. And Bolton was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Well, Bolton never really had a chance at Sec of State. I don't think. Like he was way too controversial and definitely a war hawk.
Yeah, I mean, this is from Bolton's book, so obviously taken with a grain of sand.
Yeah, I mean, also you have to realize that Bolton was like before getting the nod to be on the Security Council, he was a Fox News pundit.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Um, yeah, I mean, the reason he was
oh, that
brought
was a
in the
sick
first
cat by no name.
the reason he was brought in as a pundit in the first place was because of his opinion pieces, and those were what Trump read that brought him in.
Yeah, I mean, he was also on like there was a show called
Rant.
Should I, which was like like a late night talk show on Fox News. It was actually pretty good, but
Huh. But anyway, back to the point here.
Derek is just I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Culture shift in the Republican Party. You have the foundationalists, the fundamentalists. They have the people that have and will continue to prescribe or ascribe to Trump's culture of republicanism. Um, Very haughty. Like I don't know. Consider the culture of the cabinets of Trump and Bush, and I could see a clear division between the two as far as like actually maintaining um, like policy, um, and then on the contra being Trump.
I mean, the main difference is probably that Trump is I wouldn't want to say more libertarian than Bush, but I mean in the sense of how Bush was so pro-war, pro-military, like spending, intervention, like all that stuff. I mean Trump is still like very pro-spending on the military. It's just
We don't
it's
utilize
not
it there, though.
it's yeah.
I understand that why we've increased the budget so much, but why we've pulled troops from multiple countries. I understand why from a like a press piece.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we carried out with what we said we were going to do, remove the troops from here, and there. However, we've just given Raytheon 100 billion to fund and create our new fighter jets. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me.
Maybe the days of the Bush party are simply over. Maybe it has like would
I know
would
it's
we be able to see a Patriot Act today?
definitely not. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe.
I don't think so just because of the internet. I think
I
there's
don't.
too many people that would.
Yeah, I guess, but you have to think like government isn't getting smaller; it's only expanding.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, and
Yeah.
like we're
The,
only going to become more authoritarian every single president that we have. And
right.
authoritarian is like people say that Trump is authoritarian. He's not like like they don't know what it really means. But like the government as a whole is going to have more power. Like each new president that comes in.
Well, I think
which
that where people call him an authoritarian figure comes from, and you can contrast this however you'd like, but the number of laws he's broken that simply will never be punished for or reprimanded for.
what laws?
Um, what?
What laws?
Hold on, give me a sec. Mhm. I'm trying to find a comprehensive list here, but they always put them in articles. Um,
This game is so poorly played right now. I'm kind of glad that we're not commentating it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, hold on. I'm trying to find a list here, but as far as I can recall, obstruction, and furtherance, the not producing testimony, I think is a broken law. But
Uh,
let me keep.
that's all partisan shit, though.
Well, if they're written in the U.S. Penal Code, then it's not partisan.
I mean, you could argue that the investigation itself was fraudulent. Like, so I don't really.
Well, I mean, we could sure. Um, However, there's a lot of these things. So obstruction, sure. I mean, you could say that the investigation was flawed, but as I'm reading here,
But
um,
I'm just wanting something that's not like a partisan issue.
not partisan, sure.
Yeah.
Profiting from the presidency.
How so? Oh, that was a good cap by D-Rec. Has he profited? I don't know if he has.
Um, I mean, there's always exposés, but as far as factual goes, he's pushed his properties as quote avenues to secure his favor, and multiple foreign officials have stated his properties while lobbying his administration.
Well,
Quote Trump
how?
promoted.
But how could they? If he's not releasing tax returns,
Yeah.
and like, how do you know if he's profiting? Like, that's
Well, the retention of his ownership interests in his business while in office should at the very least be profiting off of that, right? Just by association, should the president be able to own? Um,
yeah.
you think so?
Yeah, I think they
I
should.
mean,
Now the precedent, not president, but precedent in the past was that people would divest their interests because
right, like
they cared about the political ramifications of not doing that.
right,
So,
like
oh
Cheney.
my gosh, that was a good play.
So
So yeah,
onward.
I don't think it was a legal issue. I think it was just I don't know. It's kind of tricky. It might be like, but I'm not aware of it being one. I don't know. That's kind of sketchy. I don't know.
Right, right. Um, let's see. I mean, I could just read this thing, but I don't really want to just read down every list here. You could see engaging in reckless conduct is being listed as one. Um, do persecuting political opponents. What the fuck's the law for that? Um, Attacking the free press. Come on. Okay, I need to get off of this website.
Yeah.
Come on, you're gonna tell me attacking the free press is breaking law? Would that not just be
Wait,
using?
what site was this? Are you on
I
site or
didn't click.
something?
So it was the link here is 247sports.com, and then I click on it, and it takes me to impeachhim.com.
Oh man,
So freezing the Ukraine funds that could certainly be.
no. I mean, every
Mhm.
president and administration freezes funds to certain people for a certain period of time. I mean,
But
Biden
the
and
purpose
Obama
is
did
what
it.
matters. The freezing doesn't. The freezing isn't the law. It's the why, and it's for gain or not.
Yeah, but you can't. It can't be proven. Like, so you could be
Sure.
suspected of breaking a law, but proving it is different. Oh,
I think that's a good point. Restoring the rule of law requires addressing the politicization of law enforcement, where the department's investigatory and prosecutorial powers have not been exercised free from partisan consideration. As required by the department's own manual, there must be corrective action taken. Interesting.
so what's the deal here, Rick G? If you're still watching, is LBT playing right now? So Poost Office just took game one, and that, let's see, Pro League. All right, if LBT doesn't beat Darkside tonight, like if they don't get points, Poost Office just took the eighth spot. So it just depends. So two more points, Poost Office. All right. What was the score of that one? Was it 4-3?
Yeah.
Are you watching?
Yeah, I just hopped on, saw
All
it.
right. It was 4-3 Poost Office, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. Now Vardo. Do you remember playing Vardo? I don't know if you were around then.
Never played it in competitive, but it was in pubs for fucking years. I love it.
Really, you liked it in pubs?
Oh yeah. Dude, why is Laserpig still wearing his fake axe? It's been like 3 years now.
Yikes.
Huh?
Not supposed to put someone on blast on stream.
Hey, I am a nonpartisan pundit, baby.
Alright.
I've got no
Oh,
stake in any of these claims.
he's
I'm
using
just
it for
kidding.
intimidation, though, and clearly it's working.
I
But
guess.
I don't think anyone on the Master Builders team has an axe.
Yikes.
I think they're all hammers.
Dude, why is his name fucking Trump for president? You don't even live in America, you absolute mongoloid. God.
Hey, he can
Wait, why is Master
still
Builders
show us
using the
support.
banana boat?
Huh?
Why is Master Builders using the banana boat picture?
Why not?
I mean, I guess. Damn, Post Office has a fucking clean logo. Holy fuck, that mailman can fuck the shit out of my wife.
What? Oh my gosh.
Nothing.
Uh, there's kids that watch this, you know?
Fuck them kids. In the wise words of Michael Jordan.
So you signing up next season?
Probably not. I got like 4 downvotes and only 2 upvotes.
You're not actually gonna pay attention to that, right?
I
I voted down, so if I switch mine, then it's even.
One could say that.
But you don't really
Why did you?
like. Do you even really
Why
want
did?
it? I voted no because you never seem like you actually want to.
I mean, I really don't. But at the same time, uh, yeah, I can't really even think of a a counterpoint. Um,
You
yeah.
want to see if you still have it.
No, I mean, I know I could have it given a couple of weeks of practice.
Yeah, but do you want to practice? I guess that's
That's what I was saying. Like, I've never played TPM. Do I really want to start?
no. Plus Cyberpunk.
Yeah, but it got delayed again, dude.
That's better for me
Why?
because it's more at a time where there's not a lot of other things going on, like work
Are
wise.
you? Do you have a doctorate,
No,
a master's?
I don't know. I'm not gonna dox myself.
Sure, 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 sure. So you do have a master's since you said that. You absolute idiot.
Oh no, I don't. I don't want to answer any of those
Would,
questions.
well, that's leading to would you ever get a doctorate if you don't have one? Which you said
Uh,
no to that one. So you have a doctorate.
so I mean, I guess it depends on
Oh,
what you want to do.
Williams Cap. What the fuck?
I didn't even pay attention.
Damn.
Oh, oh, direct fucked it.
I'm watching the. Oh, how do you miss that? I'm watching the stream, not the group, so I'm a bit behind.
So what do you want to do with a doctorate? I guess that's the thing.
Wait, what?
You're talking about a doctorate, right? Sass.
Yeah, I was.
Okay. So where are you going with that?
I said, would you ever get one?
Um, Probably not because I wouldn't need to.
That's what my dad says. He's talking about buying an island.
Really?
$25 million.
Nice.
Man, I just hope he doesn't blow our fucking inheritance before he dies.
Yeah, at least you'll have an island to go to, though.
True, true. Yeah, actually, me
Uh,
and my brother were talking about it,
so
and we
what
said,
country is it? Like,
Belize.
ah, that's pretty good.
Me and my brother were talking, and we said, with each of our inheritance monies, we could buy a little army of like, you know how you have those like workers for you that work for pennies on the dollar?
Yeah.
What we're gonna do? We're each gonna get like 1,000, split the island in half, and like arm them all to the teeth, and whoever wins gets to keep the island for themselves.
Jeez. So
Ain't nothing but
Belize is good though. That's actually smart because it's a pretty decent tax shelter.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
I know that um, Delaware is as well, right?
No. No.
What?
Okay. So no, not at all. Actually, like anywhere in the
What it
U.S.
is?
is awful for tax havens.
Oh, okay, but in the U.S. is what I mean.
No, like if you're gonna do anything in the U.S., you want to go to Puerto Rico because they don't
Well, I'm
have
talking.
like the federal tax rate. It's just
I'm
province.
talking about where he lives. That motherfucker's not going to move to Puerto Rico.
Well, I mean, it's better than freaking an island, right? Like
Yeah,
Belize. Puerto Rico's
his
closer.
his last company was headquartered in Ireland, and I know that was for tax purposes.
Yeah. Yeah, they have great corporate tax rates and benefits.
And like I was saying, the one he's in now is headquartered in Delaware, and I think it's because of taxes, but I also think it's only in the United States because they're contracted by the United States government. I don't
No.
know.
All right, so Delaware is a common filing for corporations because of
What?
business friendly.
Is this commentary on the stream?
Yes, it is.
Jesus.
All right, so Delaware, like, it's a common corporate filing because it has like very pro business laws, like in terms of like piercing the corporate veil, things like that. But it's not like there's no tax advantage really in Delaware, like because no matter what, you're still paying the country's like the federal tax rates. Like state tax is nothing in comparison unless you're in like
True.
Illinois or California or New York. But yeah, it's definitely not because of taxes. There's also a separate business court. So
That was a nice boost by Excel there. Just so
Interesting.
everyone knows.
Hey, we're not talking
hey,
Tag Pro here.
look at this nerd.
What was the
Yeah,
score for the first game
Um,
we don't know, like
seven
seven
to
to three or
four.
something.
7-4.
for Poost, right?
Yeah.
All right, what's our next topic? Spheroid.
Tattoo.
Nope. Give us a topic to talk about, Spheroid. We're hosting our. We're. This is a dry run
It's a
for our podcast.
podcast.
Okay. So this is a topic that's actually very near and dear to my heart. Hopefully, you guys don't make fun of me for this.
Traps.
I'm very interested in cryptozoology.
Okay, I can get on board with this.
You
Hey,
can?
what
Okay.
do you know about cryptozoology?
A lot. I've
Wait,
been
cryptozoology?
crypto, yes.
Zoology?
Zoology.
I guess I know nothing about it.
Oh, but
Probably
boy,
not.
oh boy, is it a field.
It sure is. So the cryptids, as they're called, that I'm most interested in and have been in my life are the Loch Ness monster. Obviously, it's like a classic one, and
Oh,
big
so you're talking about okay.
and Bigfoot too. I mean, those are the two most popular ones, but those have also been just ones
The
that have
one,
fascinated me.
the one that always struck me as a child was the New Jersey Devil.
Yeah,
Uh,
the Jersey
the
Devil.
whatever it's called. Yeah. That is insane
Is
to
that
me.
because you lived in or around there?
No, I never really did when I was a kid. I lived in Michigan, but like the Mothman, I wasn't too interested in it because it felt the same reason with the Bigfoot. It felt too primate and primitive to be anything but man. And I was just a kid, so
Whereas the Jersey Devil is definitely way more just like weird and non-human.
it definitely toes the line between supernatural and natural. Whereas the Loch Ness monster, uh,
Could
depending
just
on
be a dinosaur. Yeah.
right,
So is
exactly.
this just like animal related, not just paranormal, but animal like
Yes, but
okay.
it's like they're not animals in the sense that like they're terrestrial. Like the Jersey Devil, it could be an alien.
Some people would say cryptozoology is just like very scientific. It's about animals that have not been found, and they wouldn't really take the paranormal side of it seriously. But then there's others who would say cryptozoology could have a link to the more paranormal, non-scientific fields. But that's a split, I'd say, in the cryptozoology community.
Are you interested at all in aliens?
Very, that's my biggest fear.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Dude,
aliens and rodents.
so when I was a kid, I want to say
Oh
10
god,
and 11, I was terrified of aliens, like non.
same. Yeah,
So
I couldn't even sleep.
okay, wait for this, dude. My brother would simply say aliens, and I read this thing when I was like 10, and it was like aliens like actually can like smell your fear of them. So I'd cry, dude. My brother would say aliens, and I'd get scared, and I'd cry, I'd bawl my eyes, and be like, "They know I'm scared."
So funny. Was that a cat, by the way?
No.
Oh, it was so close. Yeah, aliens are basically my biggest fear. It's not just the existence of them; it's the idea of being abducted by them specifically.
What, you
Like
don't want to
seeing
get
one,
anal probed?
seeing one would be creepy, but being abducted by them or like them in my house, that's terrifying.
See, as far as I believe, um, any claims of abduction are false only because I believe that they'll wipe your memory or give you false time, like they did with Betty and Frank Woods or whatever their name was.
Yeah.
Like
But
there was
that
one time where you
yeah,
say, where you come into and say, yeah, like there was the guy who was popular on YouTube like 10 years ago because he had a video of like an alien outside his window and it looked so cheesy. Then he had a Netflix special a few years back. It's like, man, if
There
you're
was
seeing and interacting with these
there was a
aliens,
score that.
so I lack belief in um, anything regarding abduction that will give a person publicity because I feel that they're way too advanced. That if they have existed for this long, practically undetected, that they would just give it up to like get on camera for this one nerd who wants a Netflix special. So
Obviously, yeah, it's 99.99% fake, just like with cryptozoology. But then you have the stories that have a ring of truth to them that
oh, yeah.
aren't really from people trying to get publicity, and that's the freaky ones.
Yeah, I mean the recently declassified videos from the Department of Defense. Like, how do you rationalize that? How do you rationalize that as a skeptic? You have the ultimate authority giving you something, and it could be planted disinformation. I'm sure that's happened within the alien subfield. Um, However, the things they posted were not such that, yeah, look, we like caught a UFO, we have it chilling at this hangar. It's simply like a blotter on an FLR camera, like moving at ways simply not possible when constrained by the laws of physics. Um, yeah. So
Yeah, the declassified stuff is interesting. I think a lot of it can be hand waved as just we don't know what it is. We're not saying it's aliens, and
right.
that leaves a lot of leeway.
Yeah. I have some contention with the To the Stars Academy. How do you feel about them?
To the Stars Academy.
What
I
is the
actually don't know
Stars
anything about
Academy?
them.
So it's Blink 182's guy. He created a like a community of astronomers and like physicists and just alien believers
Is it
that
To
are
the Stars?
TTSA.
All right. Wait, did they launch? I'm gonna go to this.
I mean, if you think about the Drake equation, it's guaranteed that extraterrestrial life
Oh, I think
does
they just.
exist. It's just more of a question of would it be in our proximity? Would they interact with us? That kind of thing.
Yeah. The I just looked up the Drake equation.
Hmm.
Um, it seems a bit. I don't know. I don't want to say flawed,
It explains the
but
probability of extraterrestrial life.
right. But how do you even? I mean, you have the rate of the star formation, sure. Fraction of stars that have planets, good. Mean number of planets that could support life per star with planets, good. Life supporting planets that develop life. Um, if we've yet to see this beyond microbes, I mean, I guess you could say sure. Fraction of planets where life develops intelligence. Now, these latter three variables are just, I mean, how you said believe in the Drake equation. So I'm confused as to exactly what that means when you have three variables that are non provable. At
I'm
least
pretty
yet.
okay. So I actually don't know how the Drake equation makes those, but what I assume they would do is they just take Earth as the one example of a success, and then every other planet we've seen and proven there's not life on as an example of a failure, and just had that been the rate.
Okay, yeah, okay, then that makes sense. Sure.
That's my guess. I can't actually confirm that's what they do.
I am a much bigger fan of like using the Fermi paradox as an argument for intelligent life beyond our solar system. Um, and then what's his name? Some Russian guy. He gets into the types of civilization: Civ 1, Civ 2, Civ 3. And you tie those two ideas together, and it's seemingly logical that there would be life outside of just here. However, I've been tackling the idea of creatorship. Um, um, so this is about to get really philosophical and not related to aliens.
Yes.
But the reason we may never have or never will see or communicate with extraterrestrial beings is also the reason that we have consciousness in the first place. And that's sure, we have the Big Bang, but everything came from nothing, right? So consider the idea of a creator, be it God or something else. Perhaps we only have consciousness because we are created in a sense. If you can kind of understand what I'm getting at with this,
Or
in
maybe we're
that
just living in a simulation.
right. Um,
I'm being a little sarcastic, but
I mean, that is kind of what he's saying, is the idea that we
well,
exist because we were created to exist, which is basically a
well,
simulation.
even with a simulation, it still necessitates creatorship because you have a simulation, us, within something else, perhaps another simulation ad infinitum, and then you have what at the top? The creator.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to get theological here. I'm just saying that perhaps we are the only beings with consciousness because it was handed to us, and then for the reason that there, I don't know. That also raises some interesting questions of what if on the other side of the universe there is another life exactly like ours, like the life form is the same, and it was a creatorship that handed down the consciousness to the both of us. Just happened to be halfway across the universe.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
that's
It's
a cool idea for fiction. It's not based in anything.
well, neither is anything we're talking about.
I mean, some of it's based in potential eyewitness or
Yeah. I'm just referring like the Drake equation. Even though it's an equation, you might posit that it's based off of probabilistic, statistics. That doesn't mean it has a grain of truth within it.
well, it's not a statement of truth. It's just an attempt to calculate a probability.
Well, in some ways, by it being a probability in itself, it is a statement of truth. If there,
It's a
if there's
model.
a
I'd say it's a probabilistic model. It's like a prediction of the election. They're not saying
right,
this is guaranteed.
right, but if there's a non-zero answer to that equation, does that not mean that the model will suppose that there's life outside of our planet?
I
It
think
is a
it does.
non-zero
It's a
number.
model that does the best it can, and as more information is gained, the model gets better, like any model.
Right, but what I'm saying right now is that there's a non-zero number that is the answer to the Drake equation
That
based on
there
us
is some
being
probability, and the probability is very high.
or very low, depending on how you look at it. But yeah,
Yeah.
and that just I mean, so it's the same thing as me saying, what if there's another planet of similarly based, carbon-based people across the universe? Like, if we suppose that, then that's the same supposition as saying there is a probability that the Drake equation is true. Um, I don't know where I'm getting with this, but to suppose either are factual or non-factual, um, is flawed in itself simply because we can't know, I think.
I'm trying to currently look up what our current answer to the Drake equation is. Like when we plug in our best information as all
Well,
the variables.
there is no current. It's the same as when it was first started because we only have one civilization. Well, that's not true. I mean, I guess you could say that the planets with the stars and whatnot, and the life,
Right, I think
support the planet.
we found more examples of these different.
Right, but I mean, I'm not a statistician, so I can't say exactly. But I feel like that's a very flawed idea, in that number's only ever going to go up. Um,
It might go down if we just find way more examples of planets that should have a life but don't.
Right, but then there's the supposition that they just haven't developed life yet, that they're microbiotic,
Or
and
that
that
they
we
do have
simply
life
haven't.
and we don't know.
Right.
Like we don't know. There could be life on Mars. We really don't.
Well, yeah,
Like when we recently found water.
yeah, in the sun.
We
Yeah,
didn't know there was water, and then we found it.
right.
Very recently. They could be organisms. You never know.
I mean,
They could also
if
be
there
advanced.
is water in sunlight, there's surely microbes. I mean, that's how it was on the moon. So I would not be surprised if in a couple of years they say, yeah, Mars does indeed have microbiotic life forms living on it.
That would be awesome, but I also think it would be way more massive of a realization than you're casually saying. I think that would probably be the biggest scientific finding of all time.
Why? They found that on the moon. It wasn't that big a thing.
No, they have not. They found water on the moon.
They found microbiotic life forms on the moon. Hold on.
No, they didn't. That would be aliens. That'd be proof of aliens. You're saying that they found proof of aliens. That did not happen.
Are you
I
talking
think they
about the
may have.
one things that live everywhere?
The tardigrades.
Yeah.
Oh, because we brought them there.
Yeah, we brought them there. They weren't found there.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
we
hold on.
brought them there. They
Hold on.
survived there because we brought them there, maybe, but they were not originally
Right.
from there.
Hold on.
You're talking about Venus, like it being found on Venus, right?
Hold
Like
on.
it, or thought to
Wait,
be able to
8?
survive.
What the fuck? Okay, so the master boaters are just running the score up. This is
Yes.
weird.
Oh,
While we were
now
talking
you're
of
watching?
aliens. Well, I just was shocked to see
Well,
2 to 8.
basically, Poost office needs to rely on dark side of the ball in order for them to make playoffs here.
Really?
Yep. They should be 1 point ahead of Land Before Timers. So
But
as
if
long
they
as
if dark side
DS
of the ball gives up some points,
right, so it's just a waiting game for Poost office. Unless they
this seems
could
like it will.
get what, like 8 caps in this amount of time, which is impossible.
Yeah, this is gonna be a split for sure. There's no way it's not a split. The cap differential is actually going to be in the boaters' favor as well.
It's true.
Huh. I don't know where I read that because it's not true.
No.
Mandela
Yeah.
effect.
Maybe I just read it from one of my like MUFON pages. MUFON is
It would be a massive, massive, massive finding. Like,
Yeah.
again, probably the biggest scientific finding of all time if we found life on it that did not originate on Earth.
okay. So, this is too abstract for me. I like abstract things, but there's nothing to be like. I don't know how to word this. How do I increase my edification via having this conversation?
It's so abstract that it doesn't actually, like, yeah, doesn't mean anything.
Right. Like we were talking sort of about like worldview versus denominational view earlier, and that's abstract in the sense that there's not a concrete answer, but there's certain things to be supposed.
Yeah. I mean, once you start talking about things on a universal scale, it almost gets impossible to talk about it. Which is why we could go back to the Loch Ness Monster. Which, by the way, probably is not a thing. If it is, it's probably a large eel.
What about all the other cases where they think that there's like a Sasquatch? Like Minnesota has a lot of reports, Colorado, a lot in Canada actually.
Yeah, California.
Yeah, but more so like northern United States, right? Like specifically
It's
Minnesota and
very
Wisconsin.
Imagine this. This is what I think about that. Long ago, when Barnum was a like P.T. Barnum,
Yep.
This is my theory about Bigfoot. He brings over a little nest of like gorillas and shit, something very primitive.
Yeah.
And
Very primitive. I don't know if gorillas are very primitive. I think they're just animals.
like primate based.
Okay, that's what you mean, primate.
Is primate not derived from primitive?
Well, I think primitive is generally separate from primate, though they do have similar etymology.
Right. I thought they were derived from one another. I could be whatever.
Yeah, they have similar etymology. I just think they do have different kind of.
Listen. I'm not asking if they are the same word or not. I know they're not the same word. I just thought they were derived from one another. Anyway, so anyway, he brings over these primates that are very similar. You know, they stand on 2 feet. They do all this jazz, and they somehow escape, or he lets them loose in the Pacific Northwest. Right. So then these guys develop in the wilderness of the PNW.
And they fuck some bitches.
Well, they certainly could, but yeah, I mean, it's a very small tribe, I'd imagine. Generationally speaking, they're probably dying out because of incest and shit. That would be my guess.
and those are seen, except for those monkeys do not. Just the way that Bigfoot is described does not match that at all.
But yes, but the perception of the human eye is so flawed that seeing something like an ape in the wilderness of fucking Montana would leave you shitting bricks, unsure of what you saw, would it not?
So yeah, you're saying it's just like faulty eyewitness testimony.
Well, I mean,
But then why is it so consistent? Is the question. Why would it be so consistently false?
Hold up. Let me end my stream. This, we can't keep this going on all night. I have to go for a bit. But anyway, for the 5 viewers here, thanks for watching.
Stay
so
safe.
anyway,
Stay nice.
so anyway, I have seen variance in the accounts, though. I mean, sure, there might be a trend, but can the